it's my pleasure to welcome someone who I met through the college who has become a good friend. And he sells cars. And he's going to tell you about how he got into the business and just what he does. And I've seen his facility, and it's impressive. And he sells used cars. And so I'm going to turn the time over to a man that I have a lot of admiration for, Devon Hansen. Let's give him a hand.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it.
You bet.
You know, my preference would be to stand to the side there so it isn't taped and you can hear me. And I don't know about you. Do any of you really like to come up in front of, you know, a group of people, and especially if a camera's on you and you're mic'd, and be able to speak? When I first agreed to do this with Rick a few years ago, I didn't know that that was part of the agreement, but that's what it's become. And so anyway, I hope it works out okay. It's my hope today that your time that's spent here for this next hour that's of value to you. Because really, as Rick had said, this class is for you to learn, not for me to get up and to present. And so hopefully during the time that we spend here, I'll be able to answer some of your questions, give you some ideas, and probably most importantly, get you thinking about what you want to do in your lives and what type of business ventures you want to be engaged in. I'm assuming that I have a pretty captive audience if it's the business school and you're here in this business forum, that you have an interest in business. Would that be fair to say? And so that's kind of exciting for me. It's tough to be able to come and present to someone or a group that they're not interested in your product. And as we talk about business, that's a big part of it, is whatever it is that you're going to represent or sell or market, you're going to have an audience in order for it to be successful. And so I'll give you just a little bit of a brief background of me. So I graduated in 1991 from Weber State University in business administration. My emphasis was in finance. And I don't know about you, have any of you started out your college experience thinking that you're going to pursue a particular degree and you've changed in the midst of that? Yeah, I see a lot of heads shaking yes. You know, I did the same thing. And I first pursued accounting and then realized, you know what, accounting is accounting for those decisions that have been made, accounting for it on the back end. And I wanted to be making decisions more on the front end of business. And so with finance, that was more of the area that I went into. Now, in any of the studies of business, management is going to come into play at some time, business management. And I think out on the flyer, it said that this was a business forum and would be talking about management and accounting and introducing you to some of the business concepts. The flyer that was there before, it said it was an entrepreneurial forum. And I am an entrepreneur, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Because is business and entrepreneurship the exact same thing? No, they're slightly different, and so we'll want to discuss that and see what it is. Excuse me for walking over here. I'll grab this, and hopefully when I click, it'll move that distance, and we'll be okay. So, when you're in the midst of your education, have you had some long nights? Have you stayed up in order to get assignments in? Have you been stressed out from time to time? Have you taken some tests that are pretty difficult? Have you had some challenges that have come up, or maybe some conflicts that haven't made it easy for you to be able to be here and stay in your studies? All of us have distractions of different types in our lives. And I'm just telling you, your education is so important, not just because of the knowledge you receive, because it shows that you're able to stick to the program that you've designed. You've set a goal and you've stuck to it. And at the end, you get a diploma or a degree. And it's very important. And so not only the education that you get, but it shows a little bit about your character. to be able to come onto your campus. Fortunately, Rick has, after we get done here, has allowed me to see part of your campus and to take me around some of the facilities. And it's unbelievable what a wonderful place it is to be here. And so please know that I feel it an honor and a privilege to be able to be here, to be on your campus, to be in this class and be able to talk to you today. So thank you very much. I've got a couple of quotes here. And before I get started with that, what I would like to do is to ask a few questions. First of all, I heard Rick ask you to get your nameplates out. Did you notice what I ended up getting out and putting on my lapel? My name tag. I had it with me. I didn't have it on, but when he asked you to do it, I went ahead and got mine out. Why is it important? Why do you think you have a name tag, Josh, that's sitting there in front of you? Do you have any ideas why that might be important?
So you can call on me.
Yeah, so I can call you by name.
Right.
Does it make it more personal for me to be able to look you in the eyes and to call you Josh?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I could say sir, but it's slightly less personal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, for me in my industry, why do you think it would be beneficial for me to wear a name tag on my shirt or my lapel? Does anybody have any ideas why that might be important? Please, Cooper.
For selling cars, it's really important to get personal with them and just to get to know them so you can kind of fit their needs.
Yeah, if you had a question for me, would you like to be able to call me by my name? But if you have a memory like mine, I got introduced to you, but then I'm thinking about the transaction and I can't remember your name. And does that make you feel a little uncomfortable? You want to address me, but you can't? Has anyone been put in that position? So you'll see real estate agents and people at Best Buy and different businesses that they'll have a name tag on so that you can become more personal and you can be able to remember their name. And so anyway, I think that's terrific. Rick, you're teaching principles just right here in the classroom that actually apply and will make you be more successful as you enter into the business world. Now, you have dedicated some time to come here today and to sit here in this class. And I told you the most important thing is for you to learn. By show of hand, a couple of you, raise your hand and tell me, if you wouldn't mind, what an item or two that you would like to get out of this class or something that you would like to learn today. So raise your hand and give me an idea of something that you would like to learn today that it would make it beneficial for you to be here. Thanks, Josh.
Hopefully, hearing about some of your mistakes and some of your struggles that you went through, I can learn from those and not make the same mistakes. So learn from those struggles so that it helps me in my entrepreneurship.
I don't have 2 weeks to spend with you to go through all of those mistakes, right? But we'll cover a few of them. But yeah, that's terrific, because as we talk about this, you'll find that mistakes are going to happen, and you can either learn from them or you can try to say, I'm not going to admit to that, and just continue on your course, and you'll find out that it didn't work out too well for you. So we'll talk about that. Thank you so much. Mandy.
Yeah. One thing I'd be interested in learning is how you overcome objections. Being in sales, I'm sure you get told no. And like how you rebuttal and come back on that.
Terrific. You know what, a previous presentation that I had done in here was Go for the No. There's a book that says Go for the No, because all of us are going to face objections in our lives. And if you're in the sales field and you say, man, I want to approach this person and I want them to buy this so bad, when they say no, what does it typically do to us? It deflates us, it crushes us, it takes away our self-esteem. But if we understand that no is a part of the process of getting to yes, if we understand that no is in the process of getting to yes, then what we realize when someone said no, do you think I've ever asked, are you ready to buy the car? Let's see who's back in the back, Brittany. So we're working a relationship out, and you simply walked onto the lot. Brittany, hey, you ready to buy that car? Let's go in and sign. What are you going to say to me?
Probably no.
No, I'm not ready yet. Have I earned your business? Have we gone through the process that we need to in order to earn the yes? Someone knocks on your door, knock, knock, knock. Hey, I'm selling this tremendous thing. What is our first instinct to do?
No.
To say no. Because we say no because guess what? We've been conditioned to say no. Ever since we were a little tiny child and we reached up before we could even walk and we went to grab your mom's beautiful lace tablecloth, right? What did mom say to us? No, no, no. So we've been conditioned. The first thing to say is no. If you came to my employment and you were trying to sell me something, you know what my first response is? Hey, I don't have time. And do you know why I say that? Because it's convenient for me to be able to say no in hopes that you'll do what? You'll go away. Who said that? Was that you, Julie? You're exactly right. But think of this. Someone comes in and they go, hey, are you guys hiring right now? No. Then they turn around and walk out the door. That's it, right? But what if, is it Giselle? What if, Giselle, you came in, you asked, are you hiring? And I said, nope. And you said, oh, that's too bad. Wow, I've been learning out at Salt Lake Community College about business. I think I have a lot that I could offer to your business. I wish I would just have a couple of minutes I could sit down and tell you about some of the things that I've learned. Is there any difference to that? Do you think me as an employer, I might have some interest in Giselle? She didn't cave on that first no. Is that important to me? Yeah, absolutely. And so, hey, Giselle, why don't you come on up for a minute and just tell me a little bit about yourself? This isn't in my presentation either, but it has been previously. I've spoken at other universities and I've talked about this. But when I graduated before I graduated, so this is in about February, March of the year that I graduated in 1991. I had a desire to go to work for Toyota. I had researched, studied it. They have career centers here, I'm sure. You can get on the internet. You can find companies that you're interested in. And I was interested in Toyota. And they had a career fair, and guess who came? Toyota did. And I walked up to them, and Abby, I said to the lady who was there, hey, I'd like to give you a resume and talk to you about Toyota Motor Credit. And she says, oh, well, I'm here with Toyota Motor Insurance. Toyota Motor Credit isn't interviewing here at Weber State University. Oh, my hopes and dreams dashed that quick, and I just walked out. No, I didn't. I said, well, then who interviews for Toyota Motor Credit? What universities are they going to? Who is interviewing? And I can still remember to this day, by the way, that's been quite a few years ago if you do the calculations. And it was Heather. Heather was interviewing for Toyota Motor Credit. I went home and I said to my wife, and Josh, this was part about learning, from mistakes. Because had I hung my head and walked out like I saw many of my friends do, that was the end of the story, right? But it wasn't the end for me. I went home to my wife, who had just recently married, and I said, honey, how would you like to go to California for spring break? Would any of you take me up on that? It's not a bad place to go. We'll go to the happiest place on earth. We'll go to Disneyland. We'll have some fun. And by the way, we're going to stop at Toyota while we're there. And I got my resume prepared, and I went down there, and I went to the front desk, and I said, hey, I want to interview with someone or tell them that I'm interested about this. Well, they're not interviewing now. You're not going to be able to. You can leave your resume here at the desk. Oh, how many miles had I just traveled and driven to go there to hear her say, you can leave the resume? I can't see your name. Maxwell. Could I have got my resume down to her desk an easier way than me driving all the way to California? Yeah, I could have put it in the mail. I could have submitted it online with all of the other hundreds that were there. But I said to her at the desk, I said, well, you know what? Is Heather available? I pulled that out of my hat, right? Is Heather available? Well, I don't know. Let me check. Yeah, who's asking? Devon Hansen from Weber State University. I came in to talk to her about Toyota Motor Credit. Guess what? I walked back there, and she wasn't ready to conduct an interview. So I went ahead and led the interview. I conducted it, right? Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Well, we're not interviewing right now. Well, that's okay. Let me tell you a reason why you might consider me when you do. And guess, to make a long story short, guess what happened? I got an interview a month later. They flew me down, 2 days of interviews to Southern California, put me up in the hotel, did the drug testing, and then called and offered me a position, one of two in the entire country. Do you think the fact that I wasn't willing to let no, and you wanted to hear about no, right? How do you overcome objections? You overcome objections by realizing that no does not mean no. No means not yet. I don't have enough information. And if you can take that and learn from it and realize that when I say no, it doesn't mean no, it means I don't know yet. Now, can sometimes no mean no? Yeah, sometimes no mean no's, and you need to know when it's time to move on. If you're going in for an interview and it requires an MBA and you didn't realize it required a master's degree, and they said, you know what, William, you don't have an MBA, so we're not going to be able to hire you. Is it a good idea to continue to pursue that with your 2-year, degree? No. So you go ahead and do what? You move on. Yeah, you do something else, or you advance your education so that the next time you can go in. Did that help at all as far as overcoming objections now? It's the same at my car dealership. When they say no, it means I don't have enough information yet to be able to say yes. And when I provide enough information and it meets their needs, guess what answer I get? I get the yes that I'm looking for. But no is part of the process to get to the yes that we want. Okay? Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mandy. We'll still get through some great material today, but again, if I can answer some of these questions, and believe it or not, Josh, that even answers some of yours, right, is that sometimes the mistakes are that we don't give ourselves enough credit and we don't have enough confidence to move forward to the goals that we want to accomplish. As you see here, success is a journey, not a destination. You know what? I could have hung my head that day at the Career Center at Weber State and not pursued what I wanted to do. But I didn't do that. But did I have fun along the way? Did I simply just go down and only interview for the job? Is it Denali? Yeah. Denali, what did I do? What did I offer my wife?
Trip.
Yeah, trip to Disneyland, right? So is that enjoying the journey? Yeah, to getting where we want to, of that success that we want to obtain in our lives. And so that's one thing that I really want you to know, is that whatever your chosen field is, whatever you want to do something you can have a passion for, that you can enjoy, so that the process and the time commitment that you're going to put into it, you can have some fun and enjoy the journey as we reach those benchmarks of success that we're looking for. Well, let's talk a little bit about the third quote. I had a marketer come in and gave me this pen. It's not even my business, but he was demonstrating something. And look at that. It's got a pointer on the end. It's the first time I've been able to use it, right? So let's look at this one right here. I just saw it today when I was getting my bag out, and I thought I would bring it. So there you go. Look at this. Life is about trusting your feelings. Do you think, based on what I shared with you, did I have a passion and a sincere desire to work for Toyota? Yep. And I trusted in that. Do you think that there were people who told me that I shouldn't go work for Toyota, that I'd have to move out of state, that I probably didn't have a chance of getting there? And I could have stopped. But what I'm going to tell you is, follow your feelings and your dreams. Don't allow others to make those decisions for you. There are plenty of naysayers and people who don't have faith and confidence in you. You have to have it in yourself. And as you have that and you pursue it, do you think there may be sometimes that we fail? Yes, but you did it courageously, didn't you? And you pursued what you wanted to do, and you don't have any regrets about it. But what if you decided to do something else that someone else told you that you wanted to do, even though you didn't want to, right? What do we tend to do if it didn't work out? If we followed what somebody else wanted us to do and it didn't work out, what do we typically do? Who said that? What do? We blame someone else for what it is, and I'm telling you, that's no way to enjoy the journey. Now, I do marketing, right? Affinity Auto Sales. Gel pen, Uniball, Hershey's to make sure you have enough strength and energy, right? You're welcome. Those are important things that we need to do. Where's my man Josh that was that first one? Is it okay to throw things out? Rick? Okay. Don't claim it on any taxes or anything. There's not enough value, but it is fun to throw some of those things out, and I've got candy bars and pens. I figured those are things you could use, and then, put your water in there. So we'll throw the rest of those out here before we finish up. And so in business, trust your feelings and pursue those dreams. That's how you're going to have enough tenacity to stick to it when things get a little bit tough, is because you're going to do what you would like to do. Now, taking chances. We're going to talk about the taking chances here in just a minute. Thank you so much.
My question would be, when you trust your feelings, sometimes it's obviously not going to be correct. So how do you get over the parts when you choose wrong? When you trusted your feelings, but they led you to somewhere that you didn't necessarily want to be.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. If you look here, it says losing and finding happiness. Because sometimes we're going to pursue something, and I could have pursued that with Toyota, and guess what? I may not have gotten that job. And so one of the one single words that I've learned in my vocabulary is when that happens and you've pursued your dreams or you've done something that you felt that you want to do. Next, we have to move on. What I don't want to do is to crumble and shrink back and not be willing to move forward. And the word next has helped me to do that. You know what? This one didn't work out. Next. What is the next thing that I need to do? Are there other employers that would have been just as good for me to go to work for? Yeah, absolutely. It was just that I had pursued that. I will let you know I was the #1 graduate in my graduating class. Do you think that helped at all in going to interview with them? I had work experience with Weber State Credit Union, so I actually had worked in credit and collections. Do you think that helped me at all in landing that job? Yeah, and so we have to sometimes put things together in order to be able to reach those, and all of our goals are not going to be achieved. But we have to understand that we're going to move on. We're going to find something that's going to be suitable for what we're looking for. What other things do you guys want to learn while you're here in the class today? Let's have another 1 or 2 hands. Yes, Lynette.
So how did you go from, okay, you get all this experience and you have your Toyota dealership or working with the Toyota people, and then you go to your own dealership? I mean, how did you take that leap to go that big? I mean, to me, that's big.
Take that leap to go that big. Oh man, you should come up here and stand up and speak into the TV, because that's what this is all about. That's entrepreneurship, is taking that leap. It's amazing that you bring that question up, and I'm going to go ahead and just head forward into the presentation, because that's what pretty much we're going to be talking about, the balance of our time. How many of you have any desire at all to run your own business? The Wall Street Journal said that approximately 56%, and that was probably about 60% of the people, don't you think, Rick, that raised their hands? The 60% say that I'd like to run my own business, and I think I can do it. How many of you think you can successfully run your own business? Raise your hands high. So 56% says, I can do it. I can be successful in this. I can run my own business. Of the people that they have polled in business that said that they could do it, what percent make that leap? 9%. And now when I show you the statistics of the 9% that are willing to make the leap, do you know what the success ratio is in being successful in small business?
10%.
We'll cover that, okay? We'll look at that as part of what we're going to do. Now, down here, it kind of falls off the bottom of the screen, but it says, the picture of success isn't the same for any two people because we're unique individuals. And so, what was your name there in the back? Nicholas. Success is not going to be the same for any two of us. We're unique. The way that I handled the situation and the way that you're going to handle it, think I'd make it all the way in the back? Oh, yeah. Stupid. I'm glad the camera caught that. That was a great catch. He probably plays for the college, right? He's a receiver out there. But success is not going to be defined. All I'm sharing is some of the things that I've learned as I've gone through the process of getting there. Right? That going for the no, the taking the leap, understanding how to overcome objections or failure, right? None of you are going to experience exactly what I did, but hopefully you'll have some understanding and some feelings that you'll start to have of, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to grab the skill set that I need to, and I'm going to have confidence, and I'm going to move forward. Nicholas.
Another question I have is learning.
He was saying, hey, can I have a different candy bar in this one? Or there's only one, right?
In your business, obviously you have to rely on a lot of other people.
Yes,
You can't sell all the cars.
correct.
In my experience, when I bought a car somewhere, the person that I bought it for the first time was good, and the second time it wasn't so good. How do you deal with those kind of EVs, I guess you'd call them?
Terrific. And we'll talk about some of that because that is management. And all of you are going to be managing something. Is there anyone in here right now that's not involved in managing something? You're all managing your schooling, aren't you? Your lives, what you're doing, your time commitments. Is everyone always, if you ask somebody to do something for you, are they always reliable? Are they always right on time? So does Nicholas bring up a good point? Sometimes what we want to do and what we know we need to get done doesn't get done the way that we would like to. And so we have to set up a set of management tools to help us get the greatest productivity that we can. But don't be surprised if someone else, when you open your business, doesn't have the same desire or passion that you have towards what you would like to accomplish. That was great. Oh, hey, look. Either the computer moved up or the screen came down. Why my back was turned. Does anybody like to go to Moab in here? Has anybody been to Moab? Wow, whether you're riding bikes or whether you're in a Jeep, it's a lot of fun down there. And one of the employees that works for me, James, one of my salesmen, who will treat you well, Nicholas, he loves to Jeep. Do all small businesses generate enough income to support your family? No. Can you have a career and have a job that you go to full time and still run a small business on the side? Yeah. And that's what James does. See this ideal off-road. He deals in off-road product. He gets, these rockers here and fender flares and this little gas tank off the back. He deals in those types of products and sells those. And so he goes down to Moab and is always involved in the conventions and things that they do down there so that he can sell more of his product. But I had the chance to go down with him, and I jumped out as they're starting to go down this cliff to take a picture because I told him I wanted to take a picture. And I let my son go down with him. And I waited and I hiked down and I met him down at the bottom because I don't know if you can tell, but the elevation from where they started, that thing just continues to go down. But when you're looking for a business idea, I would encourage you to do something that you have a passion for, something that you have an interest in, because you're going to be spending a considerable amount of time involved in that. Does anyone in here love animals? So would it be reasonable for those who love animals to have a boarding facility for dogs. And at the same time, maybe even a grooming center where they can wash and bathe them while they're there. Some may even choose to go in and become a veterinarian and to be able to care for the animals and to give them their shots and stuff to keep them healthy. If you love pets or animals, would that be a great thing to go into? Because you have an interest, and so you're going to be learning and keeping yourself on the cutting edge of what it is that you're doing. I want to get an idea, just 3 people, and those 3 are going to get one of these water bottles. Tell me a business that you would like to open up, something that you have a passion for and that you think you could be successful in business. 3 hands. Okay, Mandy.
Jewelry.
Jewelry.
I like jewelry.
Are there any jewelry stores around?
Plenty.
Has anybody seen a jewelry store in the mall by chance?
Lots of them.
And standalone jewelers.
Like kiosks even. Like
And there could even be kiosks. Could you even do it out of your home? Yeah. So dealing in jewelry and opening up something like that could be a real possibility. Thanks, Mandy, for sharing that. Give me another one. Yes, in the back. Did you say clothing? Yeah. So to own a clothing shop, you know what? To me, that sounds like a very good business venture. Because if I look at a percentage of the number of you who are wearing clothes, right? Some of you may have come by public transport today, and so my business doesn't hit 100% of you. But clothing, yeah, it's a pretty high percentage. I like that one. Jenny, is it? Jenny could be successful in that. And she loves fashion. And do you think if she likes to be dressed up that she can recommend that to someone else? Absolutely. One more. Yes, sir.
Guitar shop?
Yeah, so, and guitar, it may be music. It may be very specialized in guitar, but you may choose to expand that out a little bit because people don't just play guitar, they play other instruments, don't they? But they may come to you for that. Are you musically inclined?
I wouldn't say I am, but I really just.
Would you mind just coming up and singing a real quick solo for us while you're on TV?
I don't sing.
Do you dance? No. Look at that. I almost got him. He's up there doing a little jig in his seat up there. That's great, Cooper. So, yes, a guitar shop. Now, do you think he really has an interest in guitar? Did you hear it in his voice as he talked about it? Did he have a desire for that? Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Let's do something that we're excited about. Find out what that is. Learn about it. Have a passion and go for it. And that's what my buddy James does here. Now, this is me sitting in that great big airplane up there, a KC-135, a refueler. My friend, Kelvin Finley, who is right here, Colonel Finley of the Air National Guard, got us to be able to go up in that. You have to have clearances and all sorts of things to do it. But I love to fly. Wow, would that be reasonable for me to own a Boeing and making airplanes or something? Probably not. I maybe could be a pilot. Would that be more reasonable? Yeah, I could have become a pilot, but I didn't realize I liked to fly until later on in my career when I had moved on for that. But I like to go up in there. But this is the type of thing that Kelvin does. He flies this plane as a career to be able to refuel F-15 fighter planes. Do you think I enjoyed being in there and looking out at that? That was tremendous. I had a wonderful time. And so this is part of enjoying the journey that I talked about. It wasn't something that I was doing for my career, but when you have opportunities in life, do you want to take them? Yeah, expand your horizons and have a lot of fun. So that's one of the things. So one last airplane picture. You ready? So the top one I'm flying, this is in, is it Kissimmee, Florida? Down by Orlando? So we had lived in California, had been to Disneyland enough times. So when we went to Florida and everybody else went to the theme parks, my wife said, Devon, you should go up and fly in this World War II fighter trainer. Now, up here you can see the horizon, right? And this is me, and this is a guy who's helping me fly. Well, can you see where the ground is here? What position do you think I am in? I'm flying upside down, right? Yeah. So when we finished that loop and we came around, I said to the pilot, now, You helped me fly that, right? You got me through that. And he said, there's a camera at the end of the wing and it shoots in. He says, when you get the pictures back, you will see that I was just hanging on for dear life to that apparatus right there. I had actually flown that plane upside down in a loop. So that's kind of fun. It's fun to do that. Do you think there was any risk involved in doing that? Yes, planes fall to the ground, right? I'm not used to flying in them upside down, and so there was some risk involved. Let's talk about an entrepreneur. Now, I should make you, because of your class, and have Rick and do a test, and have you define what an entrepreneur is. But in sake of time, I went ahead and put that up here for you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to work this from the bottom moving up, okay? So a career. Are any of you going to have a career? Yep, all of you more than likely. You're going to have a career. Something that is an occupation that you undertake for a significant period of a person's life. What is my career? What did I tell you I started out in? Automotive finance, credit, correct? Jason, did you say finance? You think that's worth one of these?
No, I think the folks that, there were some that answered questions, I think.
Yeah. So who answered questions back there? Cooper? Do you think I'd make it all the way back there to you?
I don't know.
I like Julie. She's like, I am clearing out of there. Here you go, Julie. Ready? So mine was in finance. That's my career. Did I stay in the exact same job the whole time in my career? No. Is that probably going to be similar to your situation? You're going to start somewhere and you're going to grow into different things? Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Now look at business. The practice of making one's living by engaging in commerce. What is commerce? Buying and selling. Thank you very much. This looks like that would fit you. I don't know if it'll fit over that bicep, but do your best. If not, cut it, all right? So commerce is buying and selling things. In business, are most of us going to be engaged in buying and selling things? Yeah. When we talked about clothing, right, Jenny? What are you going to be buying and selling? Clothes, right? Yeah. Jewelry, Mandy. What are you going to be buying and selling? Jewelry, right? I'm in the automotive business. What am I going to buy and sell? I'm going to buy and sell cars. We're going to be buying and selling. Now, watch this. See this little spot right here? This is important. Earning profits is essential in business. Profits are what keep you in business, that enable you to grow and provide opportunities to others to have careers within your business. If you love to do something, and Mandy, I'm going to talk to you about jewelry.
Okay.
If you love jewelry, can you make that your business?
Yes.
Yes. But if you like jewelry and you buy it and maybe you give a piece or two away or even sell a piece or two,
Just keep it.
yeah, that's not necessarily business. What's that called when we do something and spend a lot of time that we love to do but we don't make money? Yeah, it's important to notice the difference. Because many people, we get involved in hobbies of something that we love to do, but it may not be a profitable business venture. I've spoken at a lot of junior high schools about business. And when I ask them, what career or job or profession do you want to do? Guess what the number one answer among young men are of what they want to do for their career? Yeah, that would be now, but
Sports.
professional athletes. I'm going to be like Mike. Who are we talking about? Who's Mike? How on earth did you know that? Brenda, didn't you say Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
How did you know that?
Because he's a very famous basketball player.
How many people have the skill sets that we would know him just by saying, I want to be like Mike? How many people in the world have the skill set of Michael Jordan?
Probably.
Yeah, and who is that? One, Michael Jordan, but sometimes people go, oh, there's a couple other athletes. Who else are phenomenal athletes in basketball that might be considered to Michael? Who said LeBron James? Was that you? Denali? Yeah. Amazing. Because they are phenomenal individuals, aren't they? Really talented. And that's great to have an idea and a dream to do that. But the reality of probably being a professional athlete, are there any in here who are going to be professional athletes? Yeah, so we just went through and did a quick poll, right? It's not a very high percentage, but we all said that we're going to have a career of some sort. So remember, if we like playing basketball out on the schoolyard, that might be a hobby, not a career. So it's good to understand and know those differences. So remember that earning profits is essential. An entrepreneur. Lynette, read that out loud. What is an entrepreneur?
One who organizes a business undertaking, assuming the risk for the sake of the profit.
Can you remember what Lynette's question was? She had a question and something that she wanted to learn. What was that?
How did you make that leap?
Thank you very much. Sydney? Yep. I love the spelling on that. So, by the way, Sydney's a great place down under, right? So if you have a name like that, I think you deserve to be able to go there. So yeah, you should head down there sometimes. So she was saying, how do you make the leap? And what leap is she talking about? Well, the leap is, for me, I was working for a company. I had a career, I had a job, right? But I wasn't, quote, an entrepreneur. I hadn't made that leap yet to where I was going to do my own business. I was going to take that risk, and that's that leap that you're talking about. Isn't it that word right there? You will see this word come up a couple more times in the next couple of slides. Risk. Risk is real. Risk has to happen in order for you to find success. But what may happen, we take the risk and we don't find the success, what could happen? The business could fail, right? There's two things. It's either going to survive or it's going to fail, okay? So risk is critical there. So an entrepreneur, it is taking the risk. Now, all of us in this room are not going to be entrepreneurs. We're going to be satisfied working in our chosen profession, and we're going to work for someone else who is either a large corporation, right, and established years and years and years ago, or do I have employees that are working for a small business like me that I'm providing their job and their income? Yeah. And whether my company makes profit or it does not, what do my employees get?
Paid.
They get paid. That's the trade-off. And sometimes in life, why do you think most people don't make this leap that Lynette's talking about?
Yeah.
What was your name?
Lynn.
Lynn, thanks for the eye contact and letting me know that we're still here and you're with me. I appreciate it.
It's the risk. People don't want to take the risk of losing everything.
Because if you stop your employment, what occurs? The income stops. How long can you endure that? True story. So I decided I wanted to move back to Utah after having worked for Toyota because I was down in LA raising a small family, and I decided I want to be back home in Utah because that's where I'm from. So I moved back up here and I was working for Menlove Toyota in Bountiful. And I was getting paid, and I was getting paid well to manage their finance division. And I made the leap. I took the risk. And man, it was gut-wrenching. It was difficult. Because I had always been used to having money coming in. I was devoting a significant amount of time, but I always got paid at the end of the 2 weeks. And I was used to that. Guess what happened when I opened my own business? That income stopped and the money was going the other direction at a very fast pace. And so 3 months into it, Menlove came back and said, we'd like to have you come back. And guess what I had a very strong urge to do?
Right back.
To go back. To get that income flow coming in. Quick commercial for my dear wife. Thank heavens for her. She had gone and gotten an education, our greatest insurance policy for our family. She said, you know what? I'd really like you to try to make a run for this, to try to do this. You've talked about it year after year of running your own business. I will go back. She's a nurse in newborn intensive care. Now, she has a career, right? Do you think she's going to open up a business for newborn intensive care? Do you think she's more likely going to be working for a hospital? Right? That's a career. So anyway, my wife said, I'll go back to work so the income can come in and you can continue to have that risk and see if we can make a run for this thing. So, right here, 20 questions to ask before starting a business. I'm going to highlight a couple of them. Our time is fleeting very quickly. Why am I starting a business? Why am I doing it? If you don't know your why, you can't be successful because you won't have the understanding, the drive behind why you're doing. Number 2, am I prepared to spend the time and the money needed to get my business started? How many people at my age, this late into my career, can stop what they're doing and start a real estate company, an insurance company, and things like that? It's very difficult because those take what? Time to build. You've got to get a large enough clientele. So if you're going to do those things, start early is my recommendation, because what happens is we go and we do it, but we run out of funds, and guess what happens? What do we have to go do? We have to go back to work, and so we jump back into a job. How much money do I need to get started? The capital investment is large. How long do I have until I start making a profit? Because profitability is key, isn't it, in business? We talked about that. It is key. How will I manage my business? The question was asked time and time again. How are you going to get somebody else to manage that business? Look at this, Small Business Administration. Let's take 100 small companies start out. How many are left after 5 years? If we start with 100, how many are left? 50. And only 1/3 of those survive. How many is that? 12, whatever, right? 1/3 of those actually survive. Now, look at this. Many reasons for failure, but one, we don't know. I'm going to finish with this, okay? Here's my number 1 recommendation for you if you're going to start your own business. Do something that you have knowledge about. I had been in the automotive business. I had worked for Toyota. I had worked for Menlove Toyota. I understood the automotive business, correct? And so I was going to have the most success if I started an automotive business versus something else that we could have gotten engaged in. So I hope it was worthwhile for you to be here today. Thanks so much for coming. It was fun to spend some time with you. If you come up and ask me a question or tell me how you thought the presentation was, I have a couple more of those bottles I'm dying to hand out, okay?
Bringing together for Devon Hansen. Thank you. Thank you, Devon. That was great.
Thanks, Rick.
Great job. Thank you very much.